Hello, and welcome to Your Brand Express podcast, the podcast where business owners, authors, coaches get a chance to articulate their processes and how they express their brands. With your hosts, Carl and CJ Aline. Get your favorite cup of coffee or tea and get a notepad and enjoy the ride. Are you a coach, author, speaker, or service provider who is afraid of speaking on camera? Join the Confident Video Star Nation to overcome your fear. Connect with other professionals, gain access to exclusive resources, trainings, and tools, and learn the skills to become a confident video star. Join now and start your journey to success. Go to Facebook and type in Confident Video Star Nation and join the nation today. All right, everyone. We are spending time with the amazing Kelly Peters. Kelly Peters, KP, how you doing?
What's up? Yay!
Yes, sir. Let's give it a clap. Come on, man. Come on, KP. I gotta call you KP. You're my man.
KP, that's it.
You can't clap, man. They're not ready for that hype. They're not ready for that energy, man.
They're not ready for that energy, man. Not at 9 o'clock in the morning. They not, but they don't know. We get up at 6. We have young people here. Woo. I'm up at 6 every day. No matter what time I go to bed at night, I can stay up as late as I want. But at 6 o'clock, you're getting up.
That's it, baby. Woo.
These little ones get you up at 6 every day.
Wow. And you have 2 of them.
Awesome.
2 of them. Yeah, a 7-year-old and a 17-month-old. So, yeah, they keep you on your toes.
Keep you on your toes, man. I remember those days. CJ, I remember when you were that age, my brother.
Oh, yeah. CJ's way past that.
Oh, man.
I remember those days when CJ was that age, though.
Now he's saying, "Hey, Dad, I'll be back. I'm just gonna get the keys, okay? I'm gonna drive. I'll be back." And I'm just like, "Oh, be safe."
I love it. Yeah, it's like, you have all these concerns when they're toddlers, but then those concerns just grow into new things. It seems like as they get older.
Right.
You guys are raising young leaders, Definitely. So it's amazing.
KP, you heard that?
Dope. Yeah, I love that.
We got to take that to heart. He was speaking to us, man. He's preaching to us, bro.
Yeah. I love that. I really do. I love that. And yeah, man. I know you probably still ain't getting no sleep though, because you don't sleep till he gets home.
Right? Facts.
He takes the car and you waking up every half hour like, is he home yet?
Right.
Yeah.
Shh, don't tell my secrets.
That's funny.
Man. KP, we go back. When did we go back to? Wow, it's what, 2001?
2001. Yeah, like 2001.
Yeah, around then. Wow.
Ish. 2001, 2002. Yeah.
Wow.
Long time, man. Like a lot has changed since then, The grind is still real though. Like no matter where you are in the process, the grind is always going to be the grind.
Right.
Kind of like raising kids. It just changes forms.
Right.
But the same way I was grinding in 2001 when I met you, I'm grinding the same way, but just in a different manner.
Different manner, different form. I hear that, man.
Yeah, man.
Well, I tell you, just knowing you're one of the, I say hardest workers, yeah, but more importantly, one of the smartest workers. And I love that what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about networking because I love how you network with people, but it's not just networking, you're connecting with people. You build that relationship, genuine relationship, organic relationship with people.
Organic,
that's the word. Yeah, organic. I was looking for the word. And it also impressed me because for me, it was organic, but you were more, as an introvert, it wasn't as easy. But for you, it seemed so seamless, and you endeared yourself to people and people endeared themselves to you. So I was always impressed by that, so I figured we'd talk about that today, my brother.
I appreciate this conversation because in my opinion, that is 98% of it. and 2% of it is talent. Honestly,
Wow.
I feel like 98% of it is your relationships that you build. Um, there are several people doing jobs that, people will look at them, especially in the dance industry, and they're like, they're not even that good. But then after you talk to them, you're like, oh, this is
Mm.
such a great person to be around. I like being around this person. So maybe they're not as talented as Joe Smo, but like they're great. They're punctual. They have great energy. They can pick up the steps. That's it. You don't need to be like a, you know, extraordinary dancer. You just need to have this formula, this package that allows you to be likable and people to want to be around you.
Right. Right.
So, but the networking part is important. Um,
98%. Wow.
Yeah, I like that.
yeah, I feel like it's 98% because I still today, like from the moment I started my business, I've always relied on my relationships. Like because I'm like, who you can't do anything by yourself.
Yeah.
You have to have other people. I don't care who you are. You need other people, and you have to cherish and value those relationships, man. Because my parents used to always say, "Don't burn bridges," and like when you hear them say that, like yeah, but like as an adult, I'm like, man, I'm glad I never burned any bridges. you know,
Mm.
like there, like 2001, we met. I could call you tomorrow and be like, "Hey, Carl, need a favor, man," or "Hey, can we do this?" Same with you. Like this
Right.
is you reached out in 2 seconds. You know,
Right.
we're doing this interview because you did the same thing. You cherished and you maintained this relationship. So
Right.
it's important,
Right on.
very important
Right on.
for
Yo,
sure.
I seen this picture of like a car. It was like a car, like a nice car in like a compact garage with a bunch of useless kind of things in it. But it made me think of that, like how your relationships are. If you're not with like good company or you're not where you're supposed to be, it can kind of like derail you. It could take you down the wrong path. But being with a bunch of like-minded people and hardworking and strong relationships, I've seen only small things. I'm not, there yet experience-wise, but I've seen small things that kind of lead to, the right path, the wrong path. But that was pretty helpful to say that, like to hear that. I mean,
Yeah, yeah, that's a dope
Right.
analogy too. I
Yeah.
like that. I like
Mm.
that, man. Yeah, my whole, my first experience with networking was, um, back. So I was born in St. Louis, Missouri, and I started dancing professionally when I was about 13 years old. I was my first language is breaking, so I was a b-boy in this crew, and we danced for our professional soccer team in St. Louis. We did all of the halftime shows, and eventually that led to other things. We started, opening for acts. We had our own act at Six Flags, and then we started opening for the other acts that they would bring there. Uh, like New Edition and you know, just all kind of people.
Nice.
And we did that for many years. But eventually, I hit this age where like hip hop and breaking and all that like it wasn't so cool in St. Louis. It wasn't pop. We weren't able to make money from it anymore. Um, and so I needed to get like a job, like a real job. And I started working at um, a group health insurance company. This was like after some other jobs. I had many jobs, but this is when life really changed. This is when I really learned about networking. As I was working in the mailroom of a group health insurance company, and every day the higher ups would come down there a lot to like get their mail, but they would meet other higher ups, the head of marketing or the head of whatever department. And they'd be down there kind of chit chatting. That was kind of where they had their like private stuff. And,
Mm.
I just kind of was a fly on the wall and would most of the time pretend like I didn't know what was happening, you know. But one day while I was in the mailroom, I was very nice to them too. They were always, "Hey, KP," you know, we were very cool. But one day I overheard them say, "Hey, we're all gonna meet over at, you know, the Irish pub, you know, right after work for the happy hour." So I told myself, I'm gonna be there. You know, I'm
Mm.
just gonna pull up and pretend like, you know, like I didn't know they were there, you know. And so I go, and they needed to get to know me outside of that mailroom, you know.
Mm.
So I see them, we party together, we're having drinks, like, you know, I'm kicking it with the head of marketing and the head of this department and the head of that department. So then it became this thing where they would come down to the mailroom to let me know where they were going. Hey, we're going over to, you know, Shamrocks after work. You should
Wow.
come, you know. So I started going, you know, after work I would go, and um, eventually there was a position that came open that was more of an administrative position in the office, and I was there when they were discussing it. We were sitting in a booth. There were three heads of three different departments having a conversation about this position that needed to be filled, and I was sitting with them. You know, this is at, you know, 11:30 at night while we're having a dessert sitting at a booth at some restaurant at, you know, at happy hour, and I was like, you know, I should apply for it. And they were like,
Mm.
"Oh my God, you should."
Mm.
And that changed everything. You know, I applied for the job. I really wasn't qualified, to be honest, but I knew I got the job because they liked me and I was cool with them. I'd spent time with them, and that's why I got the job. I realized in that moment, like, oh, I got it. I got it. It's
Mm.
not about qualification here, because I'm certainly not qualified for, I don't know anything about health insurance, you know, but I'm really cool with this person, this person, this person, and that started that was the beginning of my networking journey.
Mm.
Started that day.
Wow.
Yeah,
Woo, that's
yeah,
powerful, man.
Power.
Sheesh.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I ended up, you know, eventually quitting the job and moving to England to study theater and do all this other stuff. But even within that, I took that skill everywhere with me. Still today, you know, I have that. I use that skill. You know, um, that networking skill, those relationships that I built many years ago still exist. You know, I even when I first moved to New York, I had there was this casting director. Her name is Millicent Diane, and she would um, cast me on a bunch of different things, movies, music videos, all these different things. And this is in 1995, 1996, like around there.
Wow.
And and I remember being in those situations where I'd be on these sets and I would just be watching everybody in the room, and it was like the choreographer, there was a you know, director, this person, the creative director, the stylist, and I was just like an extra on this set, or you know, whatever my role was, it wasn't the same as these people that had all this power and all this input, you know, and I would just like think to myself, it's like one day I want that, you know. And fast forward to, I believe it was 2020 or 2019 maybe, or 2020. Um, I ended up getting a call from this director who was like, "Hey, you're the legendary Kelly Peters, man. I heard so much about you. I want to work with you. I'm doing this music video for this artist. You might know him. His name is Future." I was like, "Of course, I know Future." He was like, "Yeah, it's a dance scene. I really want you to like handle all the dance, this, that, and the other." So I'm like, "All right, great." So, you know, this is now I have my own studio, Brick House NYC, which is in Times Square. And so I was able to cast the dancers as well that I was using for this video, which were my dancers. So
Nice.
I cast the dancers, you know, we do the choreography, we go to set. That morning, we walk on set, and I just almost was in tears because there in the back in the green room, the person who did all the casting for the music video was Millicent, the person that I
Wow.
met back in 1995, and I was there with my dancers from my studio, on a music video with a a platinum worldwide artist, and that
Mm.
moment it was like a full circle moment.
Mm.
And from that moment, Millicent and I now she used my dancers a lot. She cast from my pool of dancers for all of her projects
Wow.
That's awesome.
Phew.
because
Uh,
Millicent and I had a good relationship.
yeah,
Even though I
right.
moved, or I didn't work with her for many years, for over 20 years or something, I didn't work with
Right.
her. But when we separated from each other, we had such a good relationship that 20 years, once we reconnected, there was no bad blood, there was no anything. We just like nothing ever. The only difference was my status had changed, and now we're working from a way different place. Um, so yeah, networking.
Mm. Wow.
Now my dancers are heating because this lady's casting my dancers on different jobs. You know,
Mm. That's powerful,
from a
man.
relationship made over 35 years ago. It's like
Crazy, man. That's powerful,
good
man.
stuff. It's good
Kelly, can
stuff.
you tell us a little bit about Brick House? Like, so what do you like tell our audience, we have coaches, authors, speakers,
Yeah,
podcasters, service providers. Tell us a little bit about what yeah, tell us about what you do, because you have a wide range of experience. And and honestly, with one of the purposes with this podcast, it also talks about it's like the culture vibe of business. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So we talk
yeah,
about culturistic things too. And I see the entertainment industry has so many parallels with business. And so what we're trying to do is bring that to light as well. And you're the perfect person in this interview. So tell us a little bit about
yeah.
what you do.
So,
Okay.
Brick House NYC, founded in 2017. Myself and I have a business partner, Gladys Bank. We have a silent partner who's like a 10% partner, Craig Kamasi, and we I tell you, man, I basically in 2010 actually goes further back. Um, this is the power of purpose is that I didn't know that I was a teacher at all. I had no idea. I have always known that there was a purpose for me, but I didn't know what that was.
Mm,
I moved to Martha's Vineyard back in the end of 1999, not knowing what I was going to do. At the time, I was in a relationship, and she asked me, why won't you teach the kids about hip hop?" I didn't think the kids were really interested in hip hop, but to my surprise, they were more than interested in hip hop. And so I ended up starting dance classes, and I started a program on Martha's Vineyard. And this is back in 2000. Um, by 2003, I opened up a studio on Martha's Vineyard, an all hip hop dance studio. Um, so after opening up the studio on Martha's Vineyard, I was there for till about 2005. I was still working in the business. I was working actually close with you, Carl, at that time because you were doing DDO, or no, TTE. TTE
TTE.
turned into MSA, and then I started working with you then, and you really gave some sound advice, man, that really changed kind of like my trajectory here in New York. Was I remember doing my first carnival, and you were there when I did the first carnival, and you were like, "Man, it was really good." But I think it's important that you use dancers that people recognize, so that
Mm,
it just gives some sort of validity to you as a choreographer. And I was like, because I was using all my friends. I had brought a bunch of people from Boston, and but
right.
they were kind of unknown to the New York community. And from that moment on, I started using like the most popular dancers in New York City. you know, and there it is, that networking again. But anyway, so fast forward to 2010, I end up starting the program again, I could see that there was a lack of training for the youth when it came to hip hop in New York
Mm.
City, of all places. Right,
Wow.
I was working for the biggest studio in the world, and I went to go see one of their uh, performances. I think it was like a recital or something, whatever it was. I was the hip hop portion of it, and I was like, oh my, like
Mm.
wow, this is New York City, and this is like I can contribute something. So, I did go and say like, hey, I can do this. And they kind of brushed me off a little bit, was like, oh, cool, leave your resume type thing. I'm like, hey, I already work here, but okay. Um, um, and I was like, but I still had that passion. So I went ahead and started a program with just 22 kids. I started a crew called Generation X. And like for almost a year, I just trained them and I was just doing it for the training. I didn't think about anything else until the parents one day came and said, "Hey, um, are we ever going to get to see like kind of what they're doing?" I was like, "Oh yeah." So I did a show at Alvin Ailey, rented out Alvin Ailey, and did like two shows back to back. They were both sold out. And that changed everything. The program, I started offering it to younger people. It grew and got bigger and bigger. And so then I dropped the age and I added another younger group, and that grew and grew. And then finally it got to a place where um, I was able to open up my own space. And
Mm.
well, that I actually meeting Gladys Bank was something because her daughter danced with me, and she's an entrepreneur. She's like a developer, a lawyer, a retail shop owner. So she's like a hustler.
Mm.
And she saw what I was doing for her daughter, who is now 22 years old, but
Mm.
um, but at the time her daughter was like same thing, like 8 years old or something. But and she's a beast too. She's a beast now. Um,
Mm.
but she saw what was happening. She was like, "You need your own space," and I was like, "All
Wow.
right." So I we kind of started this business venture, and we started off in one direction, and then ended up coming back to the original, which was having my own space. Um, you know, and in 2017 we opened up Brick House in Times Square on 44th Street, uh, directly next door to Good Morning America, across the street from Viacom. So opened up Brick House. What is Brick House? Brick House is a semi-professional, professional um, training facility that we we put out some of the best dancers in the industry, um, and that's what we do. We like that's what my gift is, training people to be great. You know,
Hmm.
and so
Right.
that's what we
And
do. We have open classes, but also have a program that houses 5 different companies. Like four crews and one contemporary dance company.
wow.
We call it contemporary fusion, and then 4 hip hop companies,
Wow. And
and then
Kelly,
open classes and workshops and stuff. Yeah,
oh, that's important. That's definitely important, right?
yeah,
If you don't mind, I want to toot your horn as well, but you've also trained best dancers, some of the best dancers from Boston and New York. Some dancers who even are still touring with Lady Gaga, still
yeah,
doing
yeah,
choreography for Nicki Minaj and major artists like that. They
yeah.
train with you. I specifically, I can't even speak. I specifically saw you, or personally saw you train them and give them specific tools that I
Yeah,
believe they carry on to this day. It was
I
a
believe
grind.
too.
It was a
Thank
mentality
you.
that you gave them. It wasn't just a training in the dance.
Yes,
It was a
yes,
mentality. I can't articulate it, but that's the best I can say. So I was super impressed by that.
thank you. But that you're right. You're right. It is a mentality. It's not. It's
Mm,
not about. It's like that's why I feel so honored to be a teacher, because I know it goes beyond the steps. Like
right.
my students to me are living proof of it, because it goes for them beyond the steps. And I still work with those people. By the way, they still teach at Brick House. They come in. They work with my students. They come off a tour, or if they're in town on tour, they'll come by and talk to the professional level students and kind of give them advice about how to reach that goal. And then, I'll have them teach, again, networks, relationships.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know who your student is going to be 10 years from now. So they're not just a student, it's a relationship, one that you have to cherish. Now, those same students are top choreographers in the industry that are my students that come home. They come home, they come home and they want to see Papa, and they want to give back, One of my students that when I started Generation X, he was in Generation X. He became now he's like a television star. He's was on several different shows. And not just like these little roles. I mean, like, you know, co lead roles. And so he came home and he was like, "Hey, I want to start a scholarship program. I want to give a scholarship to one crew member every year." And so we do that every year. We give a scholarship in his name because he wants to give back to the place that helped make him who he is. And so that to me is a testament to relationship and networking. It's
Dang.
amazing.
Wow.
Awesome.
Oof. Wow. That's some powerful value.
Yeah, that's real, man. That's real. But had I like treated him just like a dollar sign, because in a lot of cases that's what people do. They see students as dollar signs and not, real people with real problems and real goals, and they're with you. Some people are with you for reasons that really have nothing to do with dance, but dance is the vehicle that brought you together. But like, my purpose for meeting them is deeper than that. And so, every interaction I have and every relationship that I make with these students is cherished, man. It's cherished because I know that I'm put in this position to do work that is beyond the steps.
Yeah.
That's beyond the
Oof.
steps.
So if I'm hearing out of that too, is like you're intentional and you realize your gift and you realize it's beyond the dance. Dance is a vehicle. Dance is powerful. Dance is a vehicle. But there are some things behind the scenes that you realize you've been gifted with that you are giving. You are blessing other people with.
Correct.
What?
Love it.
Mm.
Yeah,
Correct.
I still value that. I think I don't remember if it was a DM or that comment you shot to me when I was going through like my transition to, outside of high school. I
Yeah.
still value that. It felt authentic and real. It felt like, like wow, like this guy really meant to say that, and like that felt like a gift of yours. I think that you definitely have that gift.
Mm.
Thank you, man. Yeah, it's intentional. It's intentional. Because a lot of times, like, people may think something positive, but they don't say it. I'm like, why do people do that? Like, you can say that somebody's great if they're great, or you can say like, "I love you" if I love you, or you can say like, "Hey, man, keep pushing," or "Hey, whatever the advice or whatever it is you're giving, you could do that. There's no like, life is too short.
Yeah.
It's too
Right.
short, man.
Mm.
Like, I value it. I value relationships. I value connections. Um, you know, some connections take longer than others. It's like, you know, uh, I remember when I first kind of was in the dance scene, like there were certain people like, I don't know, like Brian Friedman and people like that, people that weren't really, I mean, they were on the West Coast, so I don't really know, like I don't really know Brian like that. I'm never gonna have a reason to really, but fast forward today, like love Brian Friedman. Not that I disliked him before, but I didn't know him. And now he's somebody that I really truly respect as like an artist and a businessman. He's sharp, he's shrewd, he's an amazing human being, but I can honestly call him my friend now. And it's like, wow, you know, Dave Scott is another one. He's like somebody that I used to see Dave's work and be like, his work is kind of like mine. He's kind of cool. Now we call each other cousins. People think that we're really cousins because we tell each
Wow.
other we're cousins. But like before, I didn't know Dave from a hole in the ground, and we couldn't even, you know, I don't know. I made a couple of attempts, but I didn't feel like it was authentic, and then it just organically, as you said, Carl, it organically happened, and
Mm,
we became extremely close. Like he's like one of my closest friends. So
mm.
the power of networking, the power of networking, the power of relationships, the power of um, being organic and being genuine.
Mhm.
It's like
Wow.
you can't be phony. You got to keep it real.
Right.
It's awesome.
And I love how you talked about the origin of how you got you were able to develop those skill sets, like even where you're in the mailroom and to even
Yeah,
now. It's like it's so cool to see your journey and hear your journey.
Yeah.
yeah.
Powerful. CJ,
Maintaining.
right. CJ, got a question? I mean, number two.
Yeah. So I mean, you kind of spoke on the first question, kind of just on, how your origins of making connections, and I think that's a gift. But what tips do you have for people that kind of delay in doing that? Because you kind of hinted at it, but what tips do you have for people that delay in making connections or struggle with making connections with other people?
Um, I think that honestly, it's about it's individuals. Individuals. Everybody's different. Like Carl was just saying, he's like, I'm an introvert. So like being an introvert is not going to help you with networking. So in some cases, I would say introverts, and I know this sounds crazy, you might need to take an acting class. And I say that because acting classes help you to tap into other parts of yourself to make you be somebody that you're not, or tap into something that you can pretend to be or whatever. Because you need those skills to not be an introvert. Uh, and honestly, like being an introvert and trying to network is got to be near to close to impossible. You know, so I, and I know that sounds crazy, but I really think acting classes are very helpful for people who have a problem socializing with other people. Um,
Mm,
you cannot miss the opportunity when you're around certain people. If you're around people that you're not normally around, and this is your opportunity to kind of like create this relationship so that you guys can have a future relationship, and you miss it because you're sitting in the corner shy. It's like that's going to happen many times, and it's just going to slow your whole journey you know.
right.
So yeah, I think taking an acting class is good for people that don't have it. But in terms of hesitation, you cannot hesitate. You cannot hesitate.
Mm-hmm. That's a
Mm,
good. That's good.
I hope I answered the question.
that's
Yeah,
good.
that's from your perspective. Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
think I think that's good. I think like acting class is something that I would like. It definitely brings you out your comfort zone. You know what I mean? I've done it in
yeah,
only school, but it definitely brings you out your comfort zone. And I think things like not to brag, but confident video star. I
Hey, oh wait,
Woo!
hey, can you stand up? I can't see the shirt.
oh
Can
you
you
know,
for those visually watching the visual portion of our of our
I
podcast.
think I do think no self
Nice.
promotion. It's time for it, but I do think confident video stars can help you with something like that. I think just something that can bring you out your comfort zone and kind of almost have you look in the mirror and like imitate someone or trying to become more confident with yourself. I think once you
Right.
get there, introverted, extroverted, it can help you with something like that too. I was just chiming on to
Yeah,
what you said too. I think
Right.
yeah,
that's
yeah.
Right. I
It's
love
true.
that. It's you're dead on with that, Kelly, because I remember, even what we do, I tell people like, look, I'm taking principles that I learned from the entertainment industry. And those are principles that I learned. And what some people don't know about
Yeah,
acting classes, I think that's brilliant you said that, because some people think may connect acting classes with being fake. Truth of the matter is acting classes help you to dig deep and find your
that's it.
emotions, your
Yes,
raw emotions. And that's why
yeah,
we can look on screen and hate an actor if they play a specific role. So if we see the
yeah,
Tina Turner movie, for instance, and we end up hating Ike Turner because of
right.
what he portrayed. And Lawrence Fishburne did such a great job
Yeah,
portraying his role.
he just said
So it
he did.
you know? And so that's dead on, KP. That's powerful. Also in improv classes, you learn how
Improv
to
classes, yeah,
improvise. Those are really
yes.
good. And also with what we do,
Public speaking classes.
right? Toastmasters, public speaking. And what
Yeah.
I share with people too, even taking dance classes, because dance classes
Oh
help you
yeah.
to, with good coaches like you, good teachers like you, help people to express their emotion through the movement.
Yes. Yes.
So good
Tapping
stuff,
in,
man.
tapping from the dancing from the inside out is what I always try to teach, my students, is like dance from the inside out. Don't dance from here.
Mm.
Dance from here. Um,
Wow.
you know, people feel that. People feel that. People don't feel you dancing from here because there's no
Mm.
projection. There's nothing coming out. But when you dance from here, people can feel that.
Ooh, I see that parallel, KP. I see it.
Yeah,
People can see
yeah.
you networking. They can see if you're networking from here or here as well.
Oh,
Ooh.
that too. That too. Come on, take it another layer.
It's good
Well,
stuff, man.
that's why LA to me always feels like people are networking from here.
Wow.
Like
Wow.
people always, there's a saying people say, you know, people in New York are mean, uh, but uh, the people in LA are nicer. But the people in New York, um, they what is the saying? I sound like George Bush. What is it? Something like people in New York are mean, but they mean what they say, and
Mm.
uh, oh man, I can't remember it. It was so good.
Wow.
It
Oh,
was so
wow.
good. I can't remember what it is. It's something like people from New York. They're mean, but they mean what they say, and LA is they're something. I can't remember. Whatever.
I never heard that though. Wow. I
When it
hear what
comes
you.
Yeah, it's
I've been there.
interesting. It's
I've
interesting.
been.
You've
I've been
been
to
to LA.
both, so I hear what you're saying. Yeah, yeah.
You
I
know
can
what
see
it's
where you're
like to
going with
be
that.
there, getting them
Yeah.
business cards and all that.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I found some artists even from who might be in LA, but they were from Virginia or from New York and or
Yeah,
they've been on this side,
yeah,
so they get it. And so they're able to do both in a sense.
yes. Some can do
Interesting.
both. Some can do
It's
both, and
hard.
some just conform to that whatever that environment is, and
Right.
become that.
Wow. That's powerful, man. So, question for you, like, what do you believe are the most important elements successful networking? Like, what would be a few key elements?
Eye contact. Uh, real conversation,
Mm.
meaning like, um, you know, I think you can't just jump right into bed. Let's go out to eat. Let's have a drink. You know. So like, I think having a real conversation means having about real things. Like, hey, do you have kids? You have a family? How old are they? You're creating this is a relationship that you're going to build on.
Right.
So you want to have real knowledge of the person. I mean, obviously it's a little personal, but
Right.
you want the relationship to be personal. you know,
Right.
you want it to
That's
be.
true.
You want to humanize yourself and humanize them, so that you guys can have a real relationship. You know, and then you have
Mm.
your conversation. So, eye contact and real conversation. Yeah, buddy.
Wow.
Eye contact, real conversation, and yeah, those two things, that the word that you said, which is really important, organic,
Mm.
and another one that's important to me is just being genuine.
Yeah.
Right. I love what you said too
Those
about. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
no, that's it.
No, I love what you said about being you're humanizing yourself and you're humanizing them. That's a big deal because when we in even I think about CJ, I think about even with our program with confident video stars, it's hard to, it's hard. It's, I'd never really put it that way. Well, you humanize yourself and you humanize the other person. When you do that, you break down so many barriers.
Yeah.
You know, so the same thing with networking. It's like we're just humans talking, man.
Yeah.
We're just humans talking.
Right. And you're making it simple. But I love that, KP, because if you can make it simple, you can make it more organic and be yourself. You can have that freedom, break down barriers, and create that freedom for yourself to have that perspective.
Right.
Yeah. No matter how big the star is, they all at some point had a mama, a daddy, brother, a sister, something, whatever it is, there's something that we can pull from that's common, that's human, you know? And, you know, sometimes it's music. It could be music, or it could be, you know, movies or something. There are just many things that we all kind of have in common that are just these like kind of human things that, you know, it doesn't have to be directly about the business, because you're trying to create a relationship with someone that goes beyond just this little small talk we're about to have, you know?
Right.
Yeah, I love that. I even think how you have your son right now, like that humanizes you. Like that's showing, like, you know, I'm a father.
Man.
Like that's special. Like I think anybody watching just should replay that again. Just like the whole topic of humanizing. It's important, because sometimes even on social media you can try to per se like, oh, I'm perfect. Like I have no issues.
Right. Yeah.
Good, you know, but
it's
reality,
easy to do that. That's what it's for.
So yeah, right. You know what I mean? And I just think the more and more you show that you're human, like you have these responsibilities that you go through life too, it just makes it so relatable, so authentic. It kind of, I feel like that's like the head of it, and everything you said was kind of under it in a way, like branched.
Yeah, it's true. Like the beauty of social media is that you create your own world. You make people see what you want them to see. If you're like, hey, all I do is dance all day, every day, and you just post up yourself dancing all day, or just videos of you dancing, no one has any idea that you're going through something mentally, or that you're, you know, financially going through something, or like, who knows? No one ever knows.
Yeah,
you know, I have so many students that, like, it freaks me out every single time. I'll say, like, someone that I, you know, haven't seen in a while, and I'll see them and I'll be like, man, how's it going? You look busy. Looks like you are really out here busy. And it's like, not so much, man. It's not really a lot going on. And I don't know. I'm like, well, damn, your social media got me thinking that you're really out here in these streets, like, doing it. And they're like, oh, yeah, no, you know. And I'm like, I'm always shocked by that. Like, it's happened to me many times where I think that somebody is doing something that I thought because of social media. But when I talk to them in person, it's kind of like, no, that's not what my life is. It's like, okay.
Wow.
Good branding, good marketing.
Good branding. But that's great. Y'all can have that organic conversation off social media.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
And they feel you created that relationship with them, and they feel comfortable. They can express that to you. They probably couldn't express that to anyone. That's powerful.
That's true. That's true. Because most people, they'd be like, oh yeah, you know, it's dope, whatever, you know. But like they definitely keep it real with me, and will tell me like, nah, it's not great. You know, there was this there was a teacher that was, you know, I was looking at their social media and I was like, damn, they really killing it. And you know, I ended up having a conversation with them because they reached out to me and was like, hey, just want to get your advice for something. And we talked and gave them the advice. And then they were like, I'm miserable. Out here in Los Angeles. I'm like, really?
Wow.
It looks like you love Los Angeles. Are you kidding me? Like, I would have never known anything different. I really thought you loved Los Angeles. I'm like, no, it's miserable. I hate it.
Wow.
Like, okay. Social media, baby. It's powerful.
Yeah.
So true.
You know, I'm trying to learn how to use it that way. You know, I need to make myself look like something, you know, more than I am.
Well, KP, this is a side note. We got to see you having more. I was watching one of your videos and you were talking about hip hop You have a pin video
Yeah.
on your Instagram,
Yeah.
and I want to. This is a personal request. I want to see more videos like that. Not even just about the hip hop, but about your journey and even stuff that we talked about. Because this is people need to hear this from you. You're not just a
Yeah.
teacher. You're not just a great networker. You're a leader. You're a great leader. And
Thank you.
all these kids, if you imagine compiling all the kids that you've impacted into one auditorium or stadium, can you imagine that? I can't say room; it's too big. And I'm not trying to gas you up, but
Yeah.
I've seen your journey, so I can say that. At least I've seen part of it. Can you imagine that?
Yeah. God is a trip.
Oof.
That's what I say. God is a trip. Like I'm not even kidding. I'm telling you that when I was like 17, 16, 17, 18, 19, like around that age, people used to be like, "What are you gonna do?" Like that, you know, because I'm from St. Louis, so it was all about your future. Like, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? What's your plan? And I never had one. I was just always like, I in my heart feel that God has something for me. I don't know what it is, but it will be shown to me. And I had not in a million years knew that it was going to be this. Like, you know, me working with young people, being a teacher, you know, none of that. None of that.
Right.
Being a choreographer, you know. I mean, and don't get me wrong. I enjoy working with artists, the artists that I have worked with, and you know, the projects that I've done. I love it, but nothing is more fulfilling. Nothing's more fulfilling than that, than working with um, the students and watching them grow, and like the ones we were talking about from Boston, who are now, you know, doing amazing things. Um, all of them are all doing amazing things, and it's like, wow. That to me
Mm.
is more fulfilling than working for, you know, than working for some artist that, you know, you're there for, you know, a temporary. It's temporary because the moment they change their mind and say, "Hey, we're going to go a new direction," you
Right.
put your heart and soul into something that wasn't about you, you know.
Yeah.
Um, and I love pouring um, into the future of our society, man. It's a contribution to society because these same kids are going to go out and push the message, you know, and hopefully that message helps make the world a better place, you know.
Right. I tell you, man, and all this is connected, man. I mean, the topic we talked about today was networking, but really it's relationships. You know, and
Yes, it
it's cool to
is.
see your passion, how much you're passionate about it, but how much you care, you know, and you see the results. And these, you even mentioned people who've toured the world and they come back home, they come back to the studio, they come back to you,
Yeah,
you know, because you're not in Boston anymore, you're in New York. So they come back to you and they say, hey, how can I contribute? And so
yeah.
you paid it forward. Now they pay it forward. That's the ultimate for relationships, in my opinion.
And all of these kids that they're talking to are going to pay it forward, and you know, and that's what it's about. It's about
Mm,
that. It's about sharing, caring, and paying it forward. And I feel blessed, man. I feel like incredible every day. Every single day, I thank God, and I'm like, wow, I can't even believe that this is like I get paid to do this because I love it so much,
yeah.
and you know, I have this great, you know, life or lifestyle that has been created. I'm doing hip hop. How crazy is that? But
Right.
but the thing about it is, it's actually more than because it's just hip hop. And the reason it's more than just hip hop is because what I created goes beyond the steps. So the reason why, because there's a lot of people teaching hip hop that have 3 jobs or 2 jobs, like they work at the bank and then they teach hip hop, you know. But like the reason why, yes, son, the reason why I was able to go beyond that is because of the extra thing that God gave me, which is the ability to connect with people,
Mhm.
you know, and that connecting with people organically and genuinely um, has carried me to different levels, you know, in my process and in my journey,
Yeah. Mm.
you know. But I
It's
love
powerful.
networking. Like I tell my kids that all the time, like on my students. I'm like, hey, listen, I don't care how dope you think you are. If you're not nice to be around, no one wants to work with you. I know several talented people who are not working, you know, because they're just not good to be around, you know,
Mm,
or they're full of themselves. Or come on, buddy,
mm.
Yeah.
Young man.
I can't. Yeah, man, you can't. The power of networking is powerful.
Wow. I had a question too. So, okay, so you're building the relationship, you're making that connection, you have great conversation, you connect. So when you walk out of a situation of networking for you, how do you follow up? Like what's your process for follow up?
Um, I guess it depends on the situation and what the networking was for. Because
Mm,
I don't always follow up. Sometimes I keep it in the bag. You know,
mm,
I keep it in the bag, and uh, I may try to stay connected by, like, luckily we have social media now. So no, you know, you can follow them on social media. You
right.
can, you know, be just and be more engaged in the social media aspect. You liking, commenting, you know, whatever, you know, little things like that where you guys are talking, you know, about, you know, DMs or whatever. You like DMing each other, like, oh, that was really dope. You know, thank you, appreciate it. Like whatever, you know, and then like, I don't know, just kind of keep it light, and then maybe they'll hit you up and be like, hey, coming to New York. You know, you're gonna be.
Right.
Do you have any availability for me to teach, or do you, you know, or you know, or hey, looking for dancers. I thought of you. You know, do you have dancers that meet this requirement, or you know, I you know, do you remember when I used to do Scene Interactive?
I do remember. You've been in the scene or something like that, right?
Yeah, no, it was Scene Interactive. It was like we did those. We would do those videos like in the white room,
Oh,
and
I
like
remember. But
people would do their choreography.
right, but you
Oh,
said
I
something.
did
You
in
said
the
something at the
scene.
end. Now you've been in this. At the end of the video, you
Yeah,
say,
yeah, yeah,
"So, well, that's what was it? I forgot."
yeah. I
Those are
don't remember
cool.
either, but it was something like that.
Those are
Um,
cool.
but like I made a lot of relationships, and one of them I made was with this casting director, and her name is Kristen Palladino,
Palladino
and,
casting.
and
Oh,
Palladino Casting. And at that
wow.
time, she was just starting. She
Wow.
was just starting, and now she's become a major force in New York. You know, and
Mm.
she was on the panel for my auditions. She just sent me a casting yesterday, which I dropped the ball on, but I was supposed to. The casting was for me, and
Mhm.
but I'm horrible at these self tapes. I don't really have time, but I try.
Of the self tape,
But
yeah.
even today, I still work with Kristen, and I met her back in 2006 or something, and we
Wow.
still today in 2023, she's still somebody that I work with, someone that comes to me for castings, for you know she casts my kids or my dancers in different projects, um, and you know, that's from a relationship that started in 2006. Did I talk to her every day? No. Did I see her every day? No. But the times we did speak or that we saw each other was meaningful enough
Mm.
that that you know, years down the road, once we reconnected, it was like, yeah, right, like we
Right.
never stopped.
I love that, KP, because what I'm hearing too is just, it's when you network and even when you follow up, yeah, it's important to follow up. But the hearing your perspective, the meaningfulness that you bring to the relationship is important because that's what sticks with people. Where
Yeah,
you could pick back up,
Yeah.
So
yeah,
in a matter of what it's a matter of 13 years, you all still have a
yeah.
relationship.
We still have a relationship, and we hadn't seen each other. The first time I seen her was a few years ago, and
Mm,
that's when we kind of reconnected. But I hadn't seen her in years, and years. We were so happy to see each other. Genuinely,
Yeah.
there's that word again. We were
mm-hmm.
genuinely happy to see each other, and was like, "Hey, my number's still the same." and like, obviously my life had changed a lot. I now, have this studio in Times Square with a plethora of dancers and talented people for her to choose from for what she does, you know. And she came down and saw it firsthand. She came down to the studio and was like, "All right, this is the place. This is where it's at."
Wow. Plus you're
A
on
lot of,
time in
lot of,
Times Square. My goodness.
yeah.
Good night.
That's
And I've seen
that's
you guys have that main stage in Times Square too. What?
yeah. We do that once a year. That's kind of like our recital because I don't do recitals, but that's like we did a big stage out in Times Square and invite a bunch of people to perform. People submit videos and we'll select ones and then we do a nice thing. But here's another interesting thing is we end up having a great relationship with Times Square itself, Times Square Alliance, and so they reached out to us and asked us if we would be part of something they were doing called Times Square Live. This is the first time that they reached out because I guess they were going around business to business to see who's in Times Square, and they were like, "Oh my God, we didn't even know you were here." So now they asked us to do this performance, and so we did it and it was a freebie. We was like, all right, they were like, can you pull it together? I'm like, you have no idea who you're dealing with here. We went out, we did an hour and a half show, easy, bang. So then fast forward, a couple weeks ago, they're like, hey, doing this 50-year anniversary of hip hop, we have to have Brick House. So now we fused together and we're like, all right, that first one was a freebie. So let's talk about this budget, and now it turned into a relationship, but it was actually a paid situation. So
Nice.
all of my dancers, I had 35 dancers that did a paid job out in Times Square from that relationship that we're still building.
Awesome.
Wow.
So yeah, yeah,
Mm.
it's real. It's real.
Good night.
Times Square, baby. That's the heart of the city. That's the pump. That's the heartbeat.
Exactly.
Times Square is the heartbeat.
It gets no better than that.
Times Square.
Yeah. No, not for New York City. If you're in New York, it don't get no better.
It get no better than that in New York. Yeah. Oh my gosh. That's
Yeah.
good on you, man. Well, Kelly,
Blessed.
very blessed. Yes. Well, Kelly, where if one wants to find you and find out about how you network and find out about Brick House Studios, where can they find you?
Go to brickhousedance.com. Brickhousedance.com, and you will you'll want to dance for sure. And yeah, you'll learn a lot about what we do at Brick House. We manage a lot of our dancers as well. So we have Brick House Management, which is another branch of our business. And yeah, if you have a passion for dance, even if you want to do it for fun, it doesn't have to be professional. If you just want to do it for fun, a lot of it to me is building confidence because the confidence that you build is something that you use and you take with you everywhere. I don't care if you're an accountant. It doesn't matter. The confidence is necessary and it helps you socially, changes your dynamic socially when you have more confidence. As an adult or even as a teenager, that's one of the first things that happen when with the students of mine, as parents will write me and say, I don't know what has happened, but my kid is all of a sudden talking at school and getting better grades and really the true key to that is just their confidence. The confidence changed from dancing and being part of this. So yeah, but brickhousedance.com and our Instagram is brickhouse NYC, brickhouse.nyc. This is my daughter Josephine.
Oh, Josephine, listen, I've been seeing, oh, she can't hear me, I know. But
No, she can't hear you.
tell her I've been
Hold
seeing
on,
her
I'll
dancing
take.
too.
Let me take these out so she can hear you. Hold on.
Mario.
Hold on. I'm gonna take this out. This is a friend called and son CJ.
Hi.
Hi, Josephine. Listen, I've been seeing you dance on screen, on camera. So cool. You're such a great dancer.
Say thank you.
You're welcome. And Kelly, you gotta,
I can
you got,
hear you. I can put these back on.
okay. Kelly, you gotta show us something before we close out. You gotta show us one thing. How do you do your logo? You gotta show. I've been trying for a minute.
Oh,
I just
yeah.
can't.
So it's a brick house. So I just do two B's, and I put them together like that.
Oh yeah, that's dope. I haven't seen it. I've seen it.
So
Oh, dang.
it's a brick house.
This?
Okay, that right? CJ got
You
it.
got it, Joe? Show him, Joe.
Oh, she got it. Oh, we got that.
Yep.
Okay,
Put
Joe.
it together. You take them and you put them together. Boop.
That's fire.
Yeah, I don't know where that came from. I hope it's not symbolism, but I just, it's my company, it's my brand, and so I want I want my kids and I want like my dancers to be able to take ownership too, and be able to
right.
wave their flag around, and
Right.
and that's how we wave our brick house flag,
Awesome.
Right.
So
Part of the movement.
Yo, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate what you guys are doing. I love the father and son team. It's like it's so important, especially for Black men. I feel like to be involved in their kids' lives, and I honestly feel like we have to become the heroes again in our kids' lives, because the music is treacherous. The music is treacherous. It's just like it's our community is I'm here in Harlem, so I see it firsthand, some of the effects of the music. And I hate to say I feel like I sound like an old person when I say that, but like I listen to the music, because I'm in the industry, so I'm hearing music, and the content of it is we're very at that age, at 16, 15, 14, it's a very influential time, and the kids are like absorbing everything that they're surrounded by, and unfortunately the music that's selling, and it's just not good for our kids, and so I feel thankful that God put me in a position to kind of redirect or explain our path. And so what you guys are doing by doing this father and son team, it just shows how beautiful the relationship can be between a father and son, I mean, for all people, not just Black people, but I just think it's important for Black people, because that's one of the things that leads to young Black men being able to be easily influenced, is that they don't have that father in the house, because that goes, I could get into that. That goes even further back, where, without that father in the home lends itself to just outside influence,
Right.
And so you being a big major part of your son's life is what's going to keep him on the straight and narrow. He has a great role model, and my parents were my role model. They were not, but now, because the father's not in the house, Josephine, because the father's not in the house, the role model is, I don't know, Lil Uzi Vert. I don't know,
Yeah. Yeah, it's true.
So
and it's
and so it's our responsibility, and I think that what you guys are doing just is such a beautiful thing, man. Your relationship is so beautiful, and I hope that I have that with my son as well.
Yes, you will. Yes, you will, man. You're doing it. And then and anytime you feel like you can't do it, look back to all of those kids that you've inspired already, man. And that's your frame of reference, man. Bro.
Thank you. I appreciate that, man.
Thanks for all that you do.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks
for thinking of me, man. Thanks for thinking of me.
Dude, totally. You're my man, man. We go back.
I'm here for you.
I appreciate it,
Anytime.
brother. I appreciate it.
Anytime.
And that's
CJ,
some
it's
good.
great to talk to you, CJ.
Yeah, great. Yeah, great to get to talk to you for the first time. It's awesome.
Yeah, brother. Soon. We'll
Oh,
do it again soon.
oh yeah,
Right.
definitely.
Next time we're gonna do it at Brick House.
Yeah.
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 We gotta definitely come out there in New York.
We're gonna do a live. We're gonna do a up close and personal joint
Right.
right there, right in the studio.
Right.
Like, yeah, got to. Come
We're
on.
gonna elevate the show. We're gonna elevate the
Right.
show. We're gonna elevate. We're gonna do a crazy episode.
Yes. Let's go. Let's go.
The New York City episode. Y'all be at Times Square, walking around, interviewing people. Getting in, we're getting in there. We get in there real good. We talk to some dancers, talk to some choreographers. You know,
Right.
let's bring this show on the road.
Bring it. Oh, show on the road, CJ. Okay. There you have it. We hope you enjoyed our podcast. If you would be so kind, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. And or if you're listening to any of our platforms, whether it's Spotify or Apple Podcasts or whichever one, please be so kind to give us a 5-star rating if you enjoyed the podcast. And we'll talk to you soon.